Greetings, citizens. Astronesto here. It's Wednesday, so I've got your Citizen Digest for the week. The show where I take a look at what's going on in the world of Star Citizen, and I give you my take on it. Special shout out to Citizen Fix, or F1X. You're seeing us on his 600i, but it looks like we are a crew. And I guess that makes me the red shirt. Fix was generous enough to show us his Greycat ROC seen here. In this week's show, we'll cover performance updates, including a follow-up on how the bartenders are bartending, the new landing system or restricted area rework over the skies of Lorville and Area 18, the new flight model, and finally location updates into 3.10 PTU, which includes a quick digestible lore on the background of Grim Hex. We'll jump in right after this. Before we get started, I wanted to thank you guys for the comments and subs. If you're new or still on the fence, please like and subscribe if you like what you see here. Producing these videos takes some time, and your support goes a long way into helping us get the channel off the ground. As a thank you, I'm doing a giveaway for a Mustang Alpha starter package when we hit 50 subs. Okay, thanks for hearing me out, and let's get back to this week's video. Performance. So before we dive into it, I wanted to check back in at my favorite pub on Area 18, G-Lock, to talk about performance. And tonight started out as a much better night. There were 2 bartenders on duty tonight, and both were working the crowd pretty well. I'll let them do their thing here.
What do you want? Whiskey, beer, or whiskey? Coming right up.
I don't know about you, but that was pretty good service to me. What do you think? I'm glad I got a rare glimpse of the bar tech working the way it was intended. However, it's very short-lived. It is only a matter of time before the server health degrades to a point that the AIs lock up or get unresponsive. This also spills over outside the bar, as hangar doors may just not open for you on entry. Or they may just close before you can get in. And then the famed 30k errors are not too far behind. I'm a systems engineer by day, and while I have no insight into the current loads on these servers, I can imagine that the additional AI bartenders, some bars actually have more than one working like Microtek, plus the AI patrons that also interact with them has increased the processing load on the backend. While this is all great, while it works to provide some sorely missed atmosphere, without the server meshing tech to distribute the load, I'm wondering if this is going to be playable for a wider audience. I've found the 310 PTU painfully playable in short spurts before it goes down. Let's hope this gets resolved before moving to live. So I realized in my last first impressions video we were using the landing splines incorrectly. However, in my defense, it was not too intuitive. So the splines serve as a flight path in and out of Area 18. And then you will need to navigate to your hangar. Deviating from the flight plan will have disastrous results. As you can see here, I'm taking out a 600i, which has really suffered tremendously in atmospheric handling under the new flight model, so turning it is very hard. As you can see here, I'm unable to find my designated flight path, and I'm destroyed for deviating, which can be frustrating and even costly to pilots. Imagine if I had cargo here, or if I was flying something like an 890 jump. So on our next attempt I decided to take something smaller like a Saber Raven. This time I have better luck finding a flight path because I'm turning the ship around until I find it. I don't dare deviate from it. Then we are through the splines and safely out of Area 18. Coming back down was the same exact path. In third person the splines were not visible. That does make sense for immersion, but a lot of pilots like to land in third person. Newer players will have a harder time adjusting. And well, this is not ideal for content creators like me, but we'll manage. Decided to take a chance one more time at the 600i, because with the new flight model I really wanted to know if it was possible to get out safely. I had to turn above the pad to find a path. As you can see, it takes a lot of effort with the new flight model to maneuver the ship. I overshoot and I have to turn back the other way. I'm still adjusting to the new flight mechanic, and it takes a great deal of effort to raise the ship. So I'm a little bit off, but you can see I'm reasonably on mark in my view. And by the time I've gotten the ship into the splines, it explodes. This is a problem to me, and the degrees of tolerance need to be adjusted. It already takes some time to get back to the spaceport in ArcCorp, and mishaps like this are going to lead to a lot of player frustrations. After successfully getting a Caterpillar in and out of Area 18, I felt confident again to give the 600i another go. On my third attempt, after feeling a bit more confident with the flight system and how the 600i handles, I realized I can strafe to line up with the splines and just ease into it, which works well. So I imagine as we adjust to the system and the new atmospheric flight mechanics, this should be okay. But it's still a little rough to me, and the degrees of tolerance need to be adjusted. Perhaps a small fine if you are in the area of the splines instead of total destruction. For cargo runners, this will lead to additional stress. Oftentimes we are trying to beat the next 30k disconnect error, but now one needs to slow down and align properly to the splines or risk losing cargo. I also wanted to note, while testing, the hangar door is closed on me twice, so there's still some bugs to work out. This pilot is hoping to review the system some more. Taking off takes a lot more effort. In addition to that, weather conditions in areas like Microtek can lead to challenges just getting out of the hangar. The 600i is particularly hard to fly now. Even in space, it's hard to yaw at times, making the famed Symphony in Motion feel like a brick in motion. Maybe I'm being a little hard on it. Ships with wings will do better in atmosphere, while those that don't will struggle. Not sure why the Caterpillar flies so well to me. Thrusters are also more important. As you can see, with a damaged right thruster, the left thruster pushes this prospector more to the right at higher speeds, which makes sense. Also, look how this ship drops to the ground with the VTOL thrusters in the wrong position. I don't want to be totally negative here, because large ships should feel a great deal of drag and be harder to maneuver. And pilots should develop skills on their preferred craft. Or even for multi-crew, piloting and gunning should play to the skills of the player. But the first iteration is a little rough. Let's see if it gets tweaked in the right directions. If you have tried the new flight model, let me know what you think. Air-review hangars are now in Microtek. These have a newer, higher-end look to them, and the bay doors open a little fancier. The souvenir shop in a spaceport sells the penguins that have become famous, along with snacks and drinks for the famished traveler. There's no shirts or hats for sale, which is a major missed opportunity to me. The penguins are cute, but you can't keep them. As soon as they are dropped, you lose them. So for design, it's an A, but the content is about a B for me because it's missing Invictus-like apparel. The factory line store is a blatant rip-off of the Apple stores, It's a really well designed space, but the only thing you can buy right now are skins for your mobi-glass. There are a lot of other computer related parts and tablets on displays, holo tables and VR rigs, but none of them can actually be used. So if I had to grade the factory line, it's an A for design, but a D- for content. But I do see great things ahead for the factory line store. Since this update gives Grim Hex a significant overhaul, let's take a quick look at its history in this week's digestible lore. Thanks to StarCitizen.tools for the background information. The Green Imperial Housing Exchange, or Grim Hex, see what they did there? Is a base built into a hollowed asteroid. The story goes it was built for mining purposes. Originally built to house workers, this asteroid base in Yella was officially closed in 2938. It is now run by its new occupants, many of which are outlaws, criminals, and pirates. However, the inhabitants deny claims this is a pirate base of operations. The station has fallen into disrepair and is poorly maintained currently. So much so that many corridors are unpressurized. So let's start with the hangars when they open properly. Grr. Hex has upgraded hangars capable of holding all big ships now. That's right, even the high rollers and their 890Js can come hit the action at the track with the massive Hangar 1, making this the go-to spot for large ships in the Crusader area for now. Speaking of the racetrack, that's one of the biggest additions to the station, where it's strongly suggested that gambling is coming. This is a great open air space with boards, plenty of refreshments and food, and really great views. I can see this becoming a big social hub once the races are implemented. It looks like a great way to unwind with your mates. For design, it gets an A+. Content is lacking right now, but they just started. I give it a B for the imaginative space that already lends itself to some roleplay. Plus, there's an arms dealer right in the back, so what more could you ask for? Overall, I think the location changes are a step in the right direction. I'm not sure the servers can keep up with the number of AIs running around, but CIG has a good idea here. And when it works, it adds a little bit of atmosphere these large cities are missing. So I hope it only gets better from here. Alright, thanks for sticking with me to the end of this week's digest. Performance is still a little shaky with 3.10 in the PTU, but I think CIG is making efforts to correct this. Flying in general is going to require more skill. Overall, I think the challenge is good, but I'm having trouble dealing with the 600i and Prospector. This system will take a lot to get used to. Hopefully by next week I'll be a lot better. Microtek and Grim Hex have really upgraded what they have to offer. We need more content to stay entertained, but this is a great start, and you can see where they're going with this. So looking forward to seeing what they have coming. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. And I'd love to see your feedback, good or bad, in the comments section down below. This is Astronesto saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.